Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keels Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
You know, being at the forefront of an industry that keeps the world connected is an advantage for any senior leader in today's corporate environment. And you know what? Today's guest was a senior leader who rose to the level of CIO for IT and planning for one of Canada's largest telcos. But more importantly, since then, leaving the corporate world at 48 years old, or years young, I guess I should say. You know, he's become a self-proclaimed digital independent. He is also the co-founder of Priority Pilot, as well as the founder of UStation, as well as the author of Rewired, Not Retired. Gives me great pleasure to welcome to today's conversation, Mr. Glenn Hicks. Glenn, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Billy. It's been great. Great to be here.
Oh man, we got through it. You've done so many cool things and you've got so many amazing stories. I cannot wait to jump in and have a conversation with you, because I know so much of the lived experience that you have is going to help so many that are on their path today. So ironically, we both left the corporate life at 48, but I do have a question for you just right off the bat. I have this philosophy, which I think is real life, that every corporate relationship ends. Every corporate relationship ends. At the age of 48 years young, you walked away from the C-suite to design a life on your terms. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was with the phone company. I originally started back at a small phone company, a local one, very innovative company. Rose pretty quick there. And then we went through a series of mergers and acquisitions, and then finally got acquired by a very large company organization, the largest in Canada, which is Bell. And through that career, had different transitions. Probably the most significant was I got promoted very early, had a team of 200 some people, worked all the time, like literally all the time. I still remember being out on a Saturday with my family at the exhibition of all things, and just riddled with guilt and anxiety that I should be working. What the heck am I doing here with my family? That's the kind of psyche. And, you know, maybe it's because I was young, could be a variety of reasons, just this such a strong desire to please. And I took it all on my shoulders, and I tried all of the stuff, tried to be the smartest person in the room. Here's, some insight, not. And, try to, make up and do work for others, and not really holding people accountable to their gifts and their strengths, and a whole bunch of other things. And where that ended up was on the hospital table, and I had a massive heart attack. So coming back from that was very clarifying. I did not come back for the meeting I had the next day on my March break or spring break, but rather I came back for my wife, and at that time, 2 boys. And so it was a very clarifying moment about really, really, really what matters. And so the company was amazing. They gave me the time I needed to heal, flew us back, the company plane from Toronto. And they said, look, we we want you here and we want you to be healthy. So you choose. Do you want to take an individual contributor job? Do you want to stay in this job? What would you like to do? And I made, this is kind of, so probably be a theme of choices here throughout the cast today, but because I've been reflecting on this. And so I made a choice to actually stay in the job, but do it fundamentally differently. Because I figured this is more about up here than out there. And I could sweep the floors, and not to disrespect that job. The way I would approach it is if I don't sweep the floors right, the whole company's going to collapse. That's the mindset, right? So how do we get rid of that? Get rid of that mindset, choose to lead differently. So I ended up taking bigger and bigger jobs, but did them very differently. I embraced servant leadership. I put people in front of me versus jumping in front of them, and negotiated commitments based on people's strengths. And that allowed me to take on bigger and bigger responsibility and never work another weekend. And I'm in IT. So you can imagine not working weekends in IT. It seems to be, unfortunate culture. But so it's about choices, to focus on what's important, but do things differently. And that ended up, I think, the last kind of role I had, top of C-suite. I was actually the CIO for 5 acquisitions that we did. Companies ranging from 12 million a year to 350 million a year in revenue. I was able to do that simultaneously with being responsible for strategy and architecture and planning and capital. So big job, big team, over 200 people. And I was quite comfortable doing that. Then we were purchased by a big company that had a very different culture, and very different expectations of their executive to be smartest person in the room, small team that really are just there for you to use or to. So it was very different mindset, highly political. So the things I started to do to survive, to kind of last out my pension, so to speak, the golden handcuffs, as everyone says, would have probably taken me through stress. So I said, that's it. Engineered my way out, and at 48, found myself in a great position of not really needing a job. But I love to work. I'm not great at lawn care. I tried. And I'm not a golfer. So as was attested last weekend when I went away for a boys golf weekend, but anyways, I didn't get any better at all. But I wanted to do it differently, and I wanted to do it on my terms and my choice. So yeah, that's kind of the evolution, Billy, is there was these pivot points. I loved working in corporate. I loved the responsibility. I loved leading people and leading teams. That was great. And I had the opportunity afterwards, once I left and people found out, I had a number of offers for CIO roles at different companies, an offer to maybe do a unicorn startup. And I said, no, this is, I'm going to spend the time with my kids and my wife, and always be there for them. And so that's a choice I made, and that was 10 years ago, and haven't looked back or wiped the grin off my face since.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of wisdom in the words. There is a lot that I can relate to. I'm sure that the Going Long family, when you talk about being riddled with guilt while you're with the family, but not because you're with the family, but because you aren't working.
Yes.
That's happened to many a high achiever.
Yeah.
But there's something that you said that really caught my attention. And as you were talking about the company really caring about you, about your health, about your family, and asking you if you wanted to become an individual contributor when you had leadership responsibility, right?
Yes.
And you chose to stay in the role. But the thing that you said that really struck me is that you chose to do it differently.
Yes.
And so there's one thing that's actually making the choice to do it differently. There's another thing of actually being able to do it differently. You talked about leaning into some strengths of others that were on your team, but can you, because that's like a really pivotal point, because a lot of people would say, look, I just had a heart attack. I don't want the stress, man. I want to be around here. I want to do it differently I want to be here for my family, and that being in that role, I don't know how to do it any other way. That's a major decision that you make. Can you talk us through how you came to that decision to stay in the role and do it differently?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I figured when I reflected, I figured whatever job I did, if I don't change, the job is not going to change me. So no matter what job I took, whether it's an enterprise architect or a project, whatever it be, I will still do it the same way unless I change.
Yeah.
So that's the choice I made, was to change, all the books that I read.
Yeah.
I got a list of them, right? Servant leadership being a key one.
Mm-hmm.
And actually applying. I was actually at a course last night online with Vince Wong, I think it is, the communications person.
Okay.
So I signed up for one of these 3 days, I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn. Hey, and he said something some people just love to listen when they learn. They just like to kind of knowledge acquisition versus knowledge application. Yeah. So it's actually, I reread those books and say, okay, I'm going to apply this stuff.
Gotcha.
And so I stopped doing things like delegating, which I know sounds crazy. That's management 101, right? Mm-hmm. But I stopped delegating and I started negotiating commitment. Mm-hmm. So I said, look, this is what we have to do as a team. And here's, I know my strengths, what I enjoy doing, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. I try to get my team to do the same, to do their inventory, and then we negotiate commitment on something that led into their strengths. And I'm not going to micromanage you. I'm not going to follow up. You need me, you come to me, and I will help. And it's not amazing. It's unsurprisingly, people step up and they step into that when they have the agency and they have the support. So that, and it reduces your stress and workload. So yeah, the choice to do things differently was a key part of that. And the realization that no matter what I did, if I don't change, then the stress is going to be the same, no matter what job I took.
So I love that. So, and as you reiterate that for us, it was about, regardless of the role, it was starting with you. And so,
yes.
So there's a lot of, there's a story there, right? Because in essence, you went back into the same role. You gave yourself a personal, let's call a personal goal in front of yourself to say, I'm going to do this differently. How was that for your team? Because they'd been accustomed to you always being in front, taking on all the work for everybody else, doing this, doing that. And now it was negotiating for commitment, which I love that. I mean, that's that.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's got to be some change management around that. I'm just curious how well they adapted, or how easy or simple it was, maybe, or not.
So I don't recommend this.
Having a heart
But
attack. Yeah.
that having a heart attack probably and not being able to go to work for 6 weeks afterwards meant that the team had to step up and fill the void. And of course, they did a fabulous job. They all pitched in out of, care for me, which is amazing. And they had to, because I wasn't there. And so that helped. And then also having this sense of there's worse things than getting fired. Dying's one of them. So always I had this natural. So when things got, shitty up here, excuse my language, but in terms of, I almost had like a loudspeaker, a natural clipper that if the music gets too loud, the speaker shuts down. Yeah. So those things kind of help. I wouldn't recommend them. It's better if you can kind of come to your own conclusions, but and it's not easy. And it's not easy. It's not to not recognize that it's binary, that it's going to there's still work to do. You have people that negotiate commitment, and the 11th hour they come to you, say, I didn't come see you. I'm not going to make it. They probably had to have some hard conversations, right? And so there's things that you need to do. You got to put a shield up, because you take a lot of flack. I mean, I've been threatened to be thrown off the executive floor, not fired, thrown off the floor, trying to negotiate priorities with four new IT priorities, trying to fit $300 million worth of ask and demand amongst 4 kings and queens, the new CEOs of the merged company, getting them so frustrated that they said, like, you can't get this in, like, we're here.
The censor police just showed up. So this is really, I mean, it's super helpful, right? And of course, as you said, it's not about getting to the extreme, but did you feel like if you take, right, because a lot of people are here to be able to learn from you. Every context is different. Every situation has its nuance. But when you look back on it now, were there signs that, hey, this was leading up to a potential health issue?
Yeah. Certainly was. Like I would have Sunday scaries. Yeah. Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. I think we your viewership likely understands Sunday scaries. Yeah. And so, some days I start about 4:30 in the morning trying to unfold myself from the fetal position, trying to untangle all the negative strips and the what ifs and all that kind of stuff. So I went through quite a period of that. Something had to break. And so it was my heart. This time it wasn't, because I wouldn't let anything outside of me slip. Yep. And that's part of the whole, right? So this is why I don't subscribe to this, like, outwork everybody out, and this out hustle. And it's I think it's this is kind of a society comment. I just think it's unhealthy, and this never ending thirst for productivity or do more, or do faster. I think it actually accomplishes less and creates a lot more stress.
Yeah, I tend to believe to be aligned with that thought process as well. So the heart attack happens and you reassess, right? There's always things that can happen to us in the moment. You recognize later it can be a defining moment. It happened for you. Some positive things came out of this. You were able to really begin to live life more on your terms. You're getting people to commit to specific actions, and things are moving on. Yes. You get to 48. It's time to figure out to do something else. A new, one door closes, another door opens. So talk to us about that moment. You're 48 years young, and there's this next thing, and you have more time, but also too, like there's the security of a corporate paycheck that's not coming in anymore. Like that's a moment that can be a bit scary, especially when you're used to a multiple 6-figure salary kind of thing that's coming in. Is the assumption, right? So can you talk us through what was going on then, Glenn?
Yeah. So I because the lead up to leaving was getting very stressful, and trying to exist in a new culture that was not aligned from a values perspective with mine.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, I'm not going to just jump into something else like that. And so, kind of an architect at heart, like an IT architect or system architect. So it's just the way I'm wired, so to speak, to design something, right? Design the future, we used to call it the reference architecture, the future architecture.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of map it out and almost treat it like a bit of an IT project, I guess, or an IT program. And so that's what I did. And that became the basis of, the book, Rewired, Not Retired, is I share that architecture, because going from corporate life, when you have 200 plus people, like you said, multiple 6-figure income, a certain status just by your title and your role, lots of colleagues, and to go to, it's just you in your home office, staring at the wall. It's quite a transition.
Yeah.
And so this is why I kind of reflected. I didn't a piece of consulting work kind of found me.
Okay.
So I took it on to do an IT assessment of a small business.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, gave me some brain power stuff to do.
Yeah.
I did try lawn care. I used to have people do the lawn. I bought a brand new $1,000 mower and all this kind of stuff. And I got 2 trips, a lot of swearing. The third trip, not a word of a lie, I got 3/4 done, swore, threw it in the garage, and there it sat for the rest of the time. Anyways, I called my guy. I said, "Come do it. This is not. I don't enjoy that." So knowing what you don't like to do is just as good as knowing what you like to do. So
sometimes more important.
So I mapped it out. I knew I had lots of runway. We had set up our life. So again, back to choices. Like when I got promoted early, I didn't use the park, executive parking spot that I was given, or the car allowance to go buy. I think at the time, I'm going to date myself, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited was the like the executive choice. It wasn't Mercedes, but. Yeah, it was the thing, right? It was, and so I was, I kept taking the bus, and we lived in a fairly just a normal working class house in the neighborhood, and so we didn't buy into those. Got to buy a McMansion, or you got to buy the certain kind of car and go over your skis in terms of debt. Don't get me wrong, we were in the red at times, and we bought things that we probably shouldn't have. But some of those choices just to do what others are doing, we chose not. So I was in a more comfortable spot at 48 that I recognize a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
So I made the choice that I'm gonna try this digital independent, and I kind of turned my attention to not just get another job or be in another organizational context, but kind of designing intentionally what I want to, Glenn Inc. to look like, and that's kind of what I did.
So I love that, man. And there's another piece that comes to me, like you're talking about, you didn't do the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited thing, but you you continued to take the public transportation. But the thing that comes to my mind, and I'm also even like I think about client work, or I think about my own background. Did you grow up in a family like coming from financially wealthy family, or you saw like kind of what were your like what was the financial money mindset the way that you grew up?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So probably of 7 generations, I'm the first to have any wealth.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so my dad was he did well. He lives on the water, and he did very well for himself. But he left school at 16 and became an electrician,
Yeah.
and eventually worked for himself. And my mom and it was a legal secretary, and both great providers. Divorced. Early on, but I was probably 12 at the time.
Okay.
But remained civil and all that kind of stuff, and for myself and my sister. So I think that was, don't think that was really important. And certainly I did not want for anything, but lived in a first few years in a trailer park and a mobile home park, and then we got a small bungalow, and and then when split, my mom and I, my sister, we lived in an apartment. So, and they made sure, they said, I worked for my dad for during high school summers, and he made me crawl through underneath every house and dirt, and he said, I'm gonna make you want to go to university, and get an education. And they helped me out with the first year, and I lived at home, and so it was important for them that I go to university and in their terms do something bigger and better. So yeah, that was kind of the background. I didn't come from that expectation of well, I'm a doctor, or I'm this, so you need to be that, so that, I think that really helped form my approach. And the other thing, I think this is I didn't know we go here, but I do want to mention it. I'll try it without being emotional, but I would visit Dad at the job site, and I'd be in my 3-piece suit, right? One time he told me, he said, I know you got a big job. I don't understand it, but I know you're successful, and He said that I'm very proud of that. He said, the most thing I'm proud of, though, is when you come back to the job site, you don't look down on people. You talk to the guys. They jab you like they jabbed you when you're 16, and you do the trash talk together. And he said, that's what I'm most proud of. So, and it always stuck with me. Like you don't treat people any different, no matter what they do or what they have. And you'll appreciate this little story. Because I know you're big sales background, and you would be the antithesis of this. So as a sales guy, I can just tell. But I had a couple of sales guys come up from New York, and they flew in for a meeting with me. And when my EA came in, she's pretty unflappable. She was kind of visibly upset. They said, well, what's going on? She goes, those guys were rude. Like, they were just ignorant. So I walked out my office, and it was, oh, Mr. Hicks, blah, 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 blah. And I said, boys, turn around, head home. We're not meeting. We're not doing business together. And that was it. They probably lost a $4 million deal over that. So, because you don't treat people any different.
Yeah, this is one of the things that it's interesting, because as you're telling the story about the not getting the car that you could have, and you're taking the public transportation. And there's so many different lessons that we bring with us because of the way that we grew up, right? I watched both of my parents work two jobs most of the time. And it was, the thing for us was, work smarter, not harder, because they wanted us to actually not have to do multiple jobs. And so there's a lot of life lessons. And at the same time, I can relate to what you're talking about is I have been very blessed to be in rooms with people that are, that run multi-billion euro dollar companies. And, I like to talk to the doorman at a hotel when I'm working somewhere, or the, person who's in the room, or whatever the case may be. I just feel comfortable everywhere. And at the same time, there are lessons that I realize that are money lessons that I grew up. But because I was the first generation to go to college, the first generation to have the multiple six-figure salary, the first to do a number of different things, I realized that there are some money lessons that have stayed with me because, well, I didn't really learn about money other than work hard to earn money versus having your money work for you. So when I think about, where you were in your corporate life, and now if we think about, where you are from a digital independent perspective, what are some of the lessons that maybe you have learned? Maybe you didn't learn them at home, but you've learned them after. And it's been one of the things that allows you to continue to have this digital independent or this business owner mindset, because the reality is they are different mindsets in terms of being able to do them effectively.
Yeah. So I think there's a few things to learn. One is you have to think about and land on a purpose like that. You need something that motivates you and focuses you. That's a key part. The other thing I had to learn, which is interesting, I'm just kind of going around the little architecture, if you will, is dealing with freedom. Like a lot of cases, even in corporate, and as a corporate exec, you have a lot of freedom to work where you want. And I had people all over Canada, so I was traveled a fair amount of times, and so I didn't have to go to a cubicle, and like some people commute every day. So I had some flexibility, but not really having weekends anymore. They just kind of all blend, or, I don't really go on vacation. I just work someplace different, or I don't work. So you have that choice. So, but it's getting, you're not in the system. The system's not defined for you. Yeah. You're defining the system. So that can be challenging if you're not a systems designer, or if that's, some people just like to, I like to have my routine set for me. Yep. And the other thing that took getting used to, or I have this salary. So because I have this salary and I have this debt ability, then this is the kind of house and car, and I'm going to buy the kind of the same thing that my colleagues have, right? And so, which takes away your agency. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is you. And it still struggle with this at times. It's even though it's 10 years, especially if I go to a professional event. Mm-hmm. But one of the things is the way I used to introduce myself was I used to be blah 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 blah, right? Big long title, da da da. And now I'm doing this. Right? It took me 10 minutes to introduce myself, and because I was wrapped up in that title. Mm-hmm. And people, I thought, and some do, treat you differently in those contexts because of the title, right? Mm-hmm. Just like the example, right? Oh, Mr. Hicks, because I'm the CIO of this versus my EA, who's an EA. So, so coming to terms with that, and then now being, I say, oh, I'm a digital independent. I was just at a conference, a tech conference, and I swear someone said, what is that? Digital independent. Like, tell me more about that. Right? So they kind of, and then you want to talk to that person. Yeah. And then I got a few, oh, that's neat. Who else is more important that's got a, fancier title that I can go talk to? Right. And I don't wear suits, and, sometimes I'll have a skull shirt on just because I can. I
was going to say, because you can, Glenn.
Because I can. Yeah. Yeah. And the skull thing, and you probably noticed on the ring, has a couple of meanings for me. It's not I'm not a biker, but it's two things. One is we all look like this. We all look like this. Yeah. So don't judge by any other means. And the second thing it means is memento mori. So having, been through 4 episodes now with my heart, as recent as the end of January, four new pieces of metal placed. I realize all we have is now. Can't get back. Future tomorrow's not guaranteed, so all we have is now. So grasp it, do it now. Don't wait. And then the other thing I learned is community, and this is why I'm active on LinkedIn. I went from 200 or 300 people, 7,000 to 8,000 person organization. So you just have community just by showing up to work each day, or be on Zoom. Sometimes all day. All day. And to not having colleagues. Clients are great, but it's not colleagues. Right. And so that's why I created U Station, was I wanted a physical manifestation to go meet new people and create colleagues. And what I learned is, and which is amazing, is the diversity of the people I engaged with now than at the phone company, because they're all phone people, right? And and not that phone people are bad, but they're pretty unit diverse, right? They're engineers, or now I've met artists and multiple cultures, and so community is the other piece. I don't get it by nature of the corporation, so I had to embed it myself. And I don't know if I'm answering your actual original question, Billy. I may be kind of rambling now on a number of topics, but
no, I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with just the mindset. But what you are sharing with us is, aside from being able to have the mindset, what has inspired you to be able to do is also, you are finding and creating your community, where you are seeing that there are opportunities, you are creating them. And so that goes beyond the span of purely just money. However, it's something that is important, because it's something that nurtures your soul, which is much more important than a bank account. So
the other thing about the bank account is, I find people spend on stuff that they do because they think that's what they're supposed to want, given the money they have, or the position that they have. And that's why I recommend actually be intentional. Look at what do you need for sustain? So, and what do you need to live? What does live look like? Forget what you need. What does it look like? And what does thrive look like? And I have mine all designed, and I can afford my Thrive lifestyle without having a job. So so that's kind of right. But my Thrive lifestyle doesn't include a yacht. I actually just sold a boat because,
or a Maserati, or a jet,
or a Maserati.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. So those things aren't important, but being able to, we just booked an Alaskan cruise, with an hour of decision making.
There you go.
So September we're going to Alaska, and in November we're going for a month to Portugal. So that's just great. Because so these sounds extravagant. It doesn't. It is to some, but we that's what thrive means. So we just have to design what's the cash flow or cash equivalent we need.
That's it.
To be able to accomplish those things.
Well, I will tell you, I'm a bit jealous that Spain is not on your agenda yet, but maybe, who knows? Maybe if I cry enough, it'll be on the agenda. But
you never know; it may show up.
No, so you've shared about digital independent. You've helped us. You've given us some insight into the genesis for U Station, and I really would like for you to share a bit more, because as you've seen, I would say either challenges or opportunities, you've leaned into them to create something to contribute as well to others. And so the one thing we haven't really talked about is Priority Pilot. And so if you could maybe tell us a little bit about the genesis of Priority Pilot, and then we'll probably have to get ready and wrap things up, man.
Yeah, it goes quick. So Priority Pilot, like as I said, I was threatened to be thrown out of the room because I was trying to, squeeze, a big number, $300 million into $100 million wrapper. And I finally got through that and didn't get thrown out. And we started to settle in. This was just after we merged 4 kind of companies of equal. We spent about 80 the next year. We got like one thing done. And so I said, we got to do this differently. Same as before when I decided to take on new responsibility, do it differently. We had to do this differently. So I embraced what the industry calls project portfolio management. And we embraced that. And the next year we actually got 45 things done on an $80 million budget, still had the same kind of sandwiching, challenge, not as hard. And then the year after that was 65 big things done for $65 million, right? So I really did it, and it reduced the stress on my team. It reduced the stress on me by following these key principles and the process. And so that has always stuck with me.
Okay.
So when I see, nonprofit leaders in particular, so I co-founded an organization called Entrepreneurs Who Care, who tries to bring social entrepreneurs and business entrepreneurs together and to help each other out. There's a lot of stressed out nonprofit leaders and social entrepreneurs, and I'm on the board of a few nonprofits, have been, and it doesn't need to be that way. So I really wanted to bring this methodology of planning and commitment management done in a way that allows you to get more done with far less stress, and a tool to support it. So that's a Priority Pilot. It's got 2 products, if you will. One is an education product to help people, here's the method. And the second is a tool. And it's a simple tool. It's a SaaS tool. Because I bought the big tools. And what I found in big companies, that people hide behind the complexity and confusion. So they like the big tool because lots of data analysis and AI, and so they can search for more information to either CYA, cover your butt, or delay the decision, 80-page charters, all this kind of stuff, this big stuff. And it distracts from making timely decisions, making commitments, sticking to them, and then having the courage to change when they need to be changed. So anyways, that's that. Priority Pilot is my 30 years of experience helping to alleviate that problem through education and a tool. And I'm really focused on social enterprise. I mean, we do small, medium business as well. Anyone that's struggling, but it's probably not for it's not a big corporate tool, maybe a departmental, but yes, that's what it is. I'm pretty excited about it. We're growing our customer base, and been doing some lunch and learns here at the local chamber, and take-up's pretty good.
It sounds good. It sounds like you like contribution. So that's a very good thing in my mind.
It's impact. I'm not building a unicorn. I have no interest in building. So I've had people offer venture capital. It's all bootstrapped, and it'll go at the speed it needs to go to, because I really want to build something that has legacy and a fierce, loyal community. So that's the path I'm on.
All right. Well, I love that, man. I would say, Glenn, that there's this one thing that's kind of happened for me in life. And most of my life, I was someone that was, the things I set out to do, I achieved it, usually overachieved it, sometimes by a little, sometimes by a lot, but I always got to the goal. And then there was a moment in life where things did not go according to plan. Personal life, professional life, bad business partner, going through divorce. Also realized that, hey, you know what? It made me have a reflection exercise. And that reflection was, one, I wasn't really paying attention when things were going really well. Because when things are going really well, you don't pay attention because they're going well.
Right.
And when this particular moment in life was happening for me now, I realized like it's easy to get stuck in the bottom, in the trough, in the valley when things are not going well. And it makes you feel like you will stay stuck there forever. That was the moment where I allowed friends to pour into me. I let people know, hey, listen, I'm looking for some help. I'm going through this. I'm feeling this way. And all of the things that were happening for me, the friends that were pouring into me, it was great because it was helping me move, but like nothing really changed more than when I looked myself in the mirror, literally, not figurative, but literally, and said, in a very similar way that you talked about earlier, that, you chose to do things differently. It was a moment that I said something to myself that changed the trajectory of that moment in life that started to move me on the upswing. And so now recognizing that, I think it's really important to say, look, there are going to be moments that are not going according to plan, sometimes more drastically than perceived. Maybe it's another heart attack or whatever the case may be, or you're going through some life challenge. But I'd like for you to have just a little exercise with me, Glenn. And it's really, Glenn, you're 3 years away and you're kind of looking back at Glenn. And along the way, you're going to go through these little troughs and that there's something that you must tell yourself. Glenn Hicks is saying to Glenn Hicks, and you're going to let the Going Long family in on that one thing that you need to say to yourself that helps you move from that trough and starts to move you in the direction so that by the end of whatever it is you are going to say, and you're going to share that with us, if you would be so kind, you're going to go look back and go, Glenn, I'm so glad that you said that. We needed that. What's that one thing that you need to tell yourself?
Stay healthy, stay present.
Love it. Stay healthy, stay present. Simple. Thank you, sir.
Don't have health.
None of it matters.
None of it matters.
None of it matters. I will say this. This conversation has literally flown by. I am looking at my clock. I'm going, are you serious? I cannot believe that it's gone by so fast. And I'm thinking at the very beginning, you're talking about, you're leading your team and you're going through M&A, and then you have a team of 200 people, and you start realizing you have a very particular life and leadership philosophy, which is you're taking on everybody's work. You're protecting everybody. You're jumping out in front to help others on your team. And you are leading from the front, taking on all of the tasks, so much to the fact that you get to a certain moment in your life where you realize like there's something that's happening. Something is not working, to the fact that, you have a pretty major health issue with a heart attack. And it was in that moment that your company was kind enough to say, hey, Glenn, you know what? And you can just take the individual contributor thing, man. Take the load off. We really care about you. But you did something that took major courage and commitment, was to say, you know what? No, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to lead, but this time I'm going to lead differently. The team's been doing things while I was away. And no matter if I'm an individual contributor or I'm someone else, like I need to, it's time for me to make the change. And you make the change, and then you get back to the place where you're leading from a different way of doing things. And then, organizations change, people come, people go, leadership philosophies change, and you realize like, hey, look, it's been a great run. I'm 48. It's time to do some other stuff. I've taken a lot of the lessons early in life. I've done things. I didn't get the Jeep Cherokee Limited. I decided to ride the bus. I got the right things. I've handled my money well. I've done my philosophy. You probably do have 3 of them now, but that's a whole different thing.
No. People should know I drive a Jeep, 2-door Jeep Wrangler with lift kit, a snorkel, and usually with the doors out and the top off. So that's my vibe.
There you go. There you go. And so then you get to a point where you recognize like, hey, there's other things that are happening. You don't have the same group that's around you anymore. And then U-Station comes around because you want to find others and surround yourself with community. And you have ideas to also be able to be digital independent, which you continue to, even when you're at conferences, you're introducing yourself that way. You bring some people to you. Maybe you repel some other people. That's okay. And then with Priority Pilot, you recognize that there is a way for you to continue to make an impact where you can do that with tools. You can do that also with your different education, and it's a way for people to continue to understand how you're helping and making an impact with others. And everybody is asking, like, Billy, just shut up, man. Just ask him. So I'm going to ask you, Glenn, what is the best way for the Going Long family to find out more about you, find out more about what it means to be digital independent, and how can we enter into your world, man?
Yeah, I think the best is if you want to go right to a website, glenhicks.ca, GLENHICKS.ca. I've got kind of all my connectors, my books there, the U-Stations there, Priority Pilot, et cetera, or LinkedIn. I've kind of given up on the big platforms, Facebook, and I still creep Instagram once in a while, and haven't been on X for many years, or Twitter, I guess, when I was there. So LinkedIn, I like LinkedIn. It's a way to connect with people all around the world. It's where I met you and Mo and many other folks that have aligned values and their abundance mindset. So I like that platform. So just hit me up on LinkedIn. You won't see this. You'll see a jet ski. That's it. That's my new corporate headshot for the last 10 years versus, yeah,
exactly.
Like this,
I think I have to change mine now. I think I have to change mine. Yeah. And so, yes, I forgot about that. So that is the one thing. And make sure also too, and you'll check it out on your website, Rewired, not Retired. And I love it, man. So Glenn, it's been a long time coming. I really want to say thank you very much. I appreciate you deciding to invest your time with me, the entire Going Long family. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it, man. Thanks. And Going Long family.
Likewise. Thank you, man.
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Going Long family. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation with Glenn and I. I'll be here soon preparing for another conversation. Until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very, very much.